Hi everyone, so I did my digital poster and assignment on intellectual disabilities, more specifically on Down syndrome, mainly because I hadn't actually come across a student with this disability in the classroom as a student teacher or as a student myself, so I did want to learn more about it. Anyway, so the characteristics of students with disabilities involve low cognitive function, meaning that they have an IQ of around or under 70. They have low adaptive skills and behaviours and are diagnosed before the age of 18 years old. So they do know well and truly by adulthood whether or not they are affected by a disability. It is determined from a social perspective and a medicinal perspective. Social being that the child is assessed from its adaptability in their environments, and medicinal being the assessment of one's brain function and structure. So they are generally understood to entail a reduced ability to cope independently and a reduced ability to understand new information and to learn new skills. There are many behavioural challenges with individuals with intellectual disabilities, such as aggression, self-injury, issues with their carers or staff, stereotypical characteristics or mannerisms, destructiveness, possible unpleasant behaviour towards the public, as well as destructiveness and possible injury to themselves or others. So Down syndrome itself, in terms of thinking about the characteristics, include facial dysmorphology, invariably cognitively impaired, a smaller than average hypercellular brain, low or inadequate muscle tone, short stature, limited attention span, speech impairment, and limited impulse control and reasoning ability, which are things that you might stereotypically think of when picturing someone with this disability. Anyway, so what causes Down syndrome? Down syndrome is caused by the trisomy of human chromosome 21, so essentially it just means that there's an extra copy of this chromosome, which will result in an increased expression of the genes encoded on this chromosome. So essentially it is genetic. It's not something that can be prevented or cured, but yeah, it's something that someone's going to have to live with as a lifelong condition. This is a point that I've put specifically in my digital poster because I thought it was important to me and important to note. Was a quote from Down syndrome in Ireland, published in 2007 on page 1. Each student with Down syndrome should be treated as an individual whose education is based on the assessment of his or her strengths or needs. So essentially, regardless of someone's disability, as a teacher, that's your job. It's your job to make your students feel safe and comfortable and have their needs at your absolute priority. So, one of the strategies that I mentioned in my assignment was explicit teaching. Explicit teaching that, as an evidence-based strategy, can be used for a range of learning abilities. It essentially ensures that students are completely clear in the teaching focus and intention. So, as taken from Archer and Hughes in 2011, I have a couple of points, such as providing immediate corrective and affirmative feedback. So providing this constructive feedback and immediate feedback, a student's knowledge can be scaffolded to help them in their learning development. Providing guided and supportive practice. As mentioned before, students with Down syndrome will get confused and will need as much assistance and support as they can get. Using clear and concise language is another one as well. And some of the strategies that I had was, getting to know your students, so building a rapport with your students, which you should be doing anyway, of course. Researching your disabilities that are present in your classroom, such as Down syndrome, educate yourself. Create an inclusive, positive and safe to fail environment. Encourage collaborative work to build the students' social skills in the classroom and practice their effective communication. Reflect on your strategies and collaborate, ask for help and work with other teachers or other people that you can learn from as well as the students' families, and how best that they would appreciate you teach them. Anyway, I've run out of time. Thank you very much.